So a friend of mine is a world-class windsurfer and an epic tennis player. Bastard. And he has been posting online his attempt at the Roger Federer challenge, which is something I am new to. If you don't know what the Roger Federer challenge is, here it is. And it's fascinating because his movement is all about proprioception. And proprioception is basically the body's ability to understand where it is in space and to be stable. So shoulder proprioception for a tennis player in particular is super important, like particularly with serving, about where the shoulder is in place, because clearly your shoulder is your connection to your trunk, which is where your principal stabilizers are. Now, Antonio is a very good tennis player, and I was thinking, how could I make his Roger Federer challenge even more epic? Or how could I make people who want to be better at the Roger Federer challenge more betterer? There is such a word as betterer. And it comes down to training your shoulder proprioceptors so that you can stabilize the shoulder joint and just pivot. It's a very fast, short pivot. And you can do this at home very easy. So this is a physio ball. It's quite soft, intentionally so. You can do this with a soccer ball, with a basketball, ideally with something that's a little bit soft. Okay, you don't want super high tension. The Roger Federer challenge is all about, so as you saw in the video, it's all about very fast movements. Now, there's a couple of things that he is doing which is very, very smart. I'll go back to the video and you can see what he is doing is he is closing down on his right side. So as he's in his stance, he's nice and closed down, and when you are closed down on one side, you are stronger on that side, because ultimately, this is not 100% literal, but ultimately when muscles are shorter, muscles are stronger. Okay, so he's closing himself down, he's really locked into his trunk, but what he's also doing is he is stabilizing his shoulder blade. So he's not just doing this, he's not just going like that, he is locking his shoulder blade in place, and he's doing a very fast movement where basically he is pivoting off his elbow. And if you look at him closely, I mean, yes, he has to make adjustments, but his upper arm is barely moving. It's a very quick pivot. And what allows him to do that is a stable shoulder blade. And that's what puts the shoulder joint in place. So all the intrinsic stabilizers are doing the right work. The shoulder is stable. And so what he is doing down here is a lot more accurate, so he can control the ball. So here's how you train yourself to be epic with the Roger Federer challenge. You get your ball and you're going to stand fairly close to a wall. I like doing it so that I've got space on this side, so I'm not staring at a wall. I start to go cross-eyed. You take your ball, you place it against the wall, and you've got the palm of your hand on the ball. Now, I'm just doing this all at 90 degrees, okay? I'm not getting myself down into his position. I'm just starting in a basic position. Now, what you do from here, there's the bottom angle of my shoulder blade, I'm thinking about gently pushing it down towards my left hip. So I'm not doing this, I'm not closing down, I'm just moving the shoulder blade, pushing it into my thumb and getting it going towards my left butt. Now, gently push there, and with light hands, I start to bounce. Now, this may look fairly innocuous, but if you've got poor shoulder proprioception, you're going to find it hard to control it. It's going to be a movement that's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fluid. So, again, set your shoulder blade in place. So push the shoulder blade down. Your lower traps are principally doing the work. Hand, and you just do a slow bounce. Now, as I do this, my shoulder blade is not moving. It's locked in. There. Okay, and you notice it's nice and fluid for the most part. Okay, if you are bad at this, I'm going to destabilize my shoulder joint. So I'm not stable here, and I can't control it. Stabilize, shoulder blade in place. I could almost go forever. So if you, and hey, wait, I'll go a step back. If you're also a tennis player, or a squash player, or a badminton player, and your overhead is struggling, same principle applies. Ball goes up here, still stabilize your shoulder joint, and train that. And what will be interesting is what your difference is like between your left and your right. I didn't realize my collar was on, it's a bit embarrassing. Yeah, so there is my little tool to help you with your Roger Federer challenge. Stabilize, train the proprioceptors, and you can do this in different planes of motion. You can go all around the shoulder arc. I'm just being specific. So be smart, be like Roger, close down, stabilize your trunk, think about your shoulder blade, and one day you'll be like Roger.